Greetings all, this is Hairy Nick back for a quick update because we all of a sudden have a lot of things to talk about on the channel. This morning or last night, if you're in America, FFG had their yearly conference, the in-flight report at GenCon for 2018. And they dropped a lot of bombshells on several games that I'm interested in and want to talk about on the channel. Now, of course, there was major stuff for XWing. But before we go on to all the Star Wars stuff, I do want to mention there is a new game that FFG are bringing out called Keyforge, which is a card game, but it's not an LCG. It's not a TCG. You don't deck build, you don't buy boosters, you just buy decks and play the decks as they come, which is completely unique and interesting and different. But most importantly, it was designed by the godfather of TCGs himself, Andrew Garfield, the guy that made Magic the Gathering. So I, at least as a preliminary effort, will cover this. I'll have a look at the article in the next video I post here on the channel, and we'll have a look at this. It looks very interesting. Now, moving on to all the Star Wars stuff. That's the main reason you guys are here. Right off the bat, let's talk about what's happening in Armada. Now, I don't play Armada or cover Armada myself, but I had to mention this because we have FFG's biggest mini ever, the Super Star Destroyer, coming out. Apparently it's about 85 centimeters long from reports we're hearing. It also can be fielded in the standard Armada game, albeit it's basically your entire list if you do. But probably the most significant thing about this is it retails for $200 US, $199.95. Which, I'm not going to lie, is a lot of money for any one mini. It's going to be a very, very impressive mini, but what that does to a game, it's worth having a conversation about, because if it has any kind of impact on the meta, then you're basically asking your game audience to spend a lot of money just to remain competitive. I mean, hopefully there's no important upgrade cards or anything. I'm not that au fait with the Armada meta. I don't play Armada myself, but it's very interesting. Bottom line, this looks utterly awesome. The Super Star Destroyer is one of those iconic things, if you remember back to The Empire Strikes Back, where you have the shot of the Executor flying to Hoth with Vader there, leading the Imperial fleet. It's something that really resonates in terms of Star Wars lore, so it's cool to see, at least from that point of view. In the game of Star Wars Legion, the next Rebel units we have coming out is Chewbacca, and as a specialist unit we have Wookiees, which is quite cool. Now, there's lots of stats to go through with this. Once the article for this drops, I will talk about this, so don't worry about that. Oh, indeed, I must mention, at this point in time, we don't have articles for any of these Star Wars products, just for Keyforge, so I'll make a video on that separately right now, but we'll have to wait for tomorrow. I'm assuming FFG are going to drop an article for all these tomorrow, so we'll do that tomorrow night. We'll have a chat about that when we have all the details and the spreads and we can analyze everything properly. I'm not going to try and speculate based on like pixelated images people took at Gen Con. Let's just wait for the articles and make sure we see everything properly. Also in Legion, we have these variety packs for both the Empire and the Rebellion, and these come with officers, medical droids, all kinds of little specialist units that can be added into any regular core squad, which is really, really cool. Plus, the officer in both cases can be a generic commander for both factions. And people have been asking that for a while, so it's really, really cool to see. Again, more details to come on that when we have the article. Now, of course, this is why you guys are all here, X-Wing. Wave 2 was announced. We are indeed getting the conversion packs for the Resistance and the First Order. We did expect this. Also accompanying those, we have the FO TIE Fighter, the T-70 X-Wing. Again, that's pretty expected. But as extra new ships in Wave 2, we have the RZ-2 A-Wing and the Mining Guild TIE Fighter on the Scum faction as well, which is interesting. I didn't expect to have anything outside Resistance and First Order in Wave 2, but there you have it. We now have TIE Fighters on 4 of the 5 different factions in X-Wing. And talking about factions, we had a massive reveal at the end of all the Star Wars stuff to celebrate the 10-year anniversary of the Clone Wars TV series starting, and indeed the reignited hype in the Clone Wars TV series because we're getting Series 7. FFG announced that the Clone Wars will be added into both X-Wing and Star Wars Legion. I don't need to explain to you guys how hype we should be for that kind of stuff. I've personally spoken about on the channel whether or not the Clone Wars stuff could be added into X-Wing back in first edition and now in second edition, and the implications of that. Needless to say, I'm very happy to see that happening. And especially in Star Wars Legion, I think it's just an excellent fit for that game. And just something worth noting, at the end of FFG's presentation, they had a quick Q&A, and a fellow YouTuber, Mr. Krabok, actually was there and asked the question, hey, what about Armada? Surely Armadas are getting Clone Wars stuff. And they actually said to him, we might have something up our sleeve for that. So hopefully stuff for Armada's coming as well, which would be really, really cool. Again, it just seems like a real clean fit for that. We didn't get any extra info on Imperial Assault, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with that moving forward. But at least there's some stuff in the works for that still coming, so there isn't a total lack of stuff happening with Imperial Assault right now. But yeah, all really, really cool stuff. All very amped to talk about this. I'm going to make a separate video for all this X-Wing stuff, all this Legion stuff, and a separate video for Keyforge as well. In the meantime, guys, stay tuned. Lots of cool stuff to come. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe. Like me on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter and Reddit. And I'll catch you guys later.